Another legend has died today. We pour one out for our buddy, the Golf. Over at Reuters, Volkswagen not planning new combustion engine Golf. That means the GTI and the Golf R that we know and love so much has met their end, at least in the spiritual form that we know it. This 8th generation is going to be the last with an internal combustion engine. This marks the end of the line for a vehicle on sale since 1974. The 8th generation Golf luckily will get some updates expected next year. So a mild refresh. Hopefully they can add some buttons into the interior to give it a little bit more of a usable experience. Really, that was the only thing that I found out that I didn't like about the GTI when I reviewed it. I love the design, love the power, love how it drove, love the functionality of it, except the functionality when it comes to interacting with the display, the climate controls, etc. So hopefully they remedy that and we'll get the most perfect Golf that's ever been made at that point. When's Volkswagen shutting the door on this 8th generation Golf? Until the end of the decade. So even though we're getting another refresh next year, who knows? We could see a second refresh by the end of the decade, maybe 2027, something like that, 2028. But Volkswagen said if the world develops differently by 2026 or 2027, we could have a totally new vehicle, but he's not expecting that so far. They are expecting this to run to the end of the decade before they kill it with electrification. So why is Volkswagen killing the internal combustion Golf? Well, they're targeting 80% of their sales in Europe to be fully electric and 55% as totally electric in North America by 2030, and globally 50% by that time as well. However, the Golf will live on in a different spirit with electrification, likely in 2028. This is a bit of a glimpse of what we could see for the next generation Golf. Now, this vehicle is going to come actually before an e-Golf does. This is supposed to be a little bit smaller, maybe like the Polo, which we don't get here in the United States, the ID2 All here. And this thing will have like 225 horsepower, well over 200 miles of range. This is supposed to be the $25,000 vehicle. Well, in Europe, it would be about 25,000 euros is what they're saying. So maybe a little bit more. But they're not planning on selling this vehicle in the United States. So we'll have to wait till probably 2028 to get something this cute in a hatchback form in the next generation Volkswagen e-Golf or whatever the ID Golf, whatever they want to name the vehicle. Let me know your thoughts down below on Volkswagen killing the Golf that we know and love with the EA888 engine. Rest in peace dual clutch transmission, rest in peace manual transmission. And it's just tough to see an entire legacy built around this car and its identity in a internal combustion and just be completely axed. But that's just the way of the world. And here's the thing, that the new Golf with a battery pack is going to be way heavier than the old Golf. And if we look at the Golf R's rival, for example, the Honda Civic Type R, this is also supposed to be the last internal combustion iteration of the Type R. I'll see you guys down below on your thoughts, your feelings, and pour one out for our homie, the Golf. Anyways, Honda is stopping Civic Type R sales over faulty seats. It's only one weld, so easy, simple fix that they'll be able to handle without a massive recall. It's not going to cost them hardly anything. Comparatively if it was like an engine recall or something like that. And lastly, over at Automotive News, Hyundai, Kia are crushing it, well, globally, but especially here in the United States. I think it was last year they passed Mitsubishi, Renault, and Nissan for the number 3 spot overall. And check this out, Hyundai and Kia smashed March sales records, and volume rose 27% to 75,000 vehicles at Hyundai. And sales over at Kia were up 20% to 71,000 vehicles. And it's the 5th straight month of gain of 20% or more for Kia. That's like Tesla level growth. Well, maybe not quite Tesla, but who else is doing that? Who else is growing at 20% or more per month at this point? Carnival, Sportage, Telluride, and Forte set March sales records, but the EV6 EV is down about 70%. From last year. That's quite alarming. Not entirely sure why that is. It could be a microchip shortage or battery shortage if they're putting those batteries in plug-in hybrids or hybrids or something like that. Hyundai and Kia have now posted higher sales 8 consecutive months, the longest streak among mass market brands in the US. It's not entirely true. Tesla's a mass market brand. Automotive News doesn't consider Tesla a mass market brand. They consider them a luxury brand. So Genesis is well, setting monthly sales records, about 5,600 units, up 23%. And come back on Monday because that's when the rest of the manufacturers, well, the majority of the manufacturers, I should say, communicating their sales numbers for the first quarter. So this is going to be a lot of fun, or it's going to be a very long video talking about how well or not well the manufacturers are doing in the start of 2023 as things, at least on the microchip end, slowly get better. If we look at the March incentives, well, they actually are forecasting it for March because they don't have the numbers here, but they're expecting it to be around $1,500 on average per car, which is up from March of 2022. And it's also slightly up from the previous month, which is February. So we're seeing incentives slowly come back. Which brands are incentivizing the most? Well, BMW, Daimler, which is Mercedes-Benz. So luxury brands incentivizing them. They also have the highest margins in theory. Ford is actually incentivizing less compared to last year. GM, though, is up about 9%, 8 to 9%. Honda is incentivizing quite heavily. Well, at least percentage-wise, you can still see here that it's not incentivizing a whole lot. Hyundai is incentivizing quite a bit more, but still only about $1,000. Kia is incentivizing less. They have one of the lowest inventories on the market right now, minus 36%. So essentially, the Kias are not getting any sort of help to be moved at this point, which is quite impressive. Nissan is dumping a good amount of money. Look, $2,300, almost. It's actually more than what Mercedes-Benz is moving. So Nissan, the demand for Nissans right now is not strong. And I point this out in my Nissan Pathfinder Rock Creek review that like you can get them for $3,000 below MSRP. And then Nissan will probably also have incentives to move it. So Nissan vehicles right now are going to be some of the best deals on the market. Stellantis vehicles, I have one in the driveway. That's the Hellcat Jailbreak Brass Monkey. It's a really long name. They're putting some serious cash down on those cars to move them as well. Toyota and Subaru not really throwing any money, not incentivizing that much. Toyota, the demand is huge for those vehicles, so not incentivizing. Volkswagen, though, incentivizing quite heavily, up 50%. If we look at average transaction price, how expensive cars are getting, well, I made a video this week saying that Toyota expects average car price to get to about $50,000. And we're not that far away. Check this out. The industry's at $45,000. A year ago, it was at about $43,000. And it's actually a little bit lower. So we've kind of hit a plateau, it looks like, compared to February. So 0% up month over month. But it could, like, depending on a lot of things, it could skyrocket again. All right, which cars are getting the most expensive? Actually, surprisingly, Nissan. But here's the thing, Nissan isn't, they've cut out some of their entry-level cars at the bottom end, and they're preferring to sell higher packaged models or higher trim level models. They're doing everything they can to increase profits here, and that's why you see the average transaction price for Nissan go up so much. But like I said, you can still find really good deals on Nissans out there. BMW is up 4%, Mercedes-Benz up 12%, and I think some of that might be due to their electric vehicles just costing so much. Ford up 13%, GM costing over 5% more, and you can see the average transaction prices for an average Ford and General Motors car that is over $50,000. That's because of their body-on-frame pickup truck and SUVs. So don't think like, your average Ford Escape is going to cost $50,000, for example. Honda average price here. Oh, this is great because I said earlier Subaru has the lowest, one of the lowest, cheapest cars on the market, and actually Kia is below them. Kia prices are falling even though the demand for them is quite high, and Subaru prices are going up. The Subaru price has also gone up because they have a more expensive vehicle in their list than they ever had before, and that's the fully electric Subaru Solterra, but they're not selling those at that high of a volume, so it doesn't impact it all that much. Toyota prices up about 4% to $42,000. Average Volkswagen here. Now it says Volkswagen Group, so I would assume that also includes Audi. That's up to about 49%, but Toyota might also include Lexus at that point as well. The average price is around $34,000 at the bottom end, and up to, luxury cars about $80,000 for Mercedes-Benz. But you can find cars well under that. That's of course just just their average price. But I'll put this in the description, guys, if you really want to get into the numbers. I probably went into it more than I needed to. I get lost in these figures quite easily. So I'll put this in the description over at Automotive News if you guys want to check that out. And thank you guys for watching. And I can't wait to see what you guys say down below with your thoughts and your prayers for the repose of the soul and the internal combustion Volkswagen Golf. Have a great day.